One evening, on the third day, they stopped by a wide, slow part of the river. As the sun went down, they sat on the riverbank, drinking cool tea that Pelton had made from mint leaves, and they talked. Pelton told about the places he'd seen, and Maddie and Lena told about Casper's quest in the city, his mad study of the old songs about treasure. "Oh, yes," said Pelton. "I've heard of those old rhymes all my life, and my father before me heard them too. It's an old verse or a song, I think, come down from years ago and scrambled, probably in the process. Everyone says it in a different way, something like this." He sang in a sweet but off-key voice. "There's buried treasure in the ancient city. Remember, remember, from times of old. What's hidden will come to light again. It's far more precious than diamonds or gold." That's the way I heard it, from an old man who lives up in the mountains near Angel Rock. Then I heard another version from Maggie Pierce, over by Felter. She sings it like this. "Remember, remember, the city of remember. Where treasure is hidden under the ground, the city, always remember. That's where the treasure will be found." Lena stared at him. Her mouth dropped open and her eyes flew upwards, and her heart thudded in her chest fastly. He laughed. "Why do you look so amazed? Think you're going to find this treasure? Nobody believes these old songs anymore. They're nursery rhymes, old jingles made up to put babies to sleep." "Some still believe in it," said Maddie. "But it's only those with a bit of madness in them, and good measure of greed, looking just for themselves." "That's right," said the roamer. "I've known a few like that. One of 'em was sure it was in the old city of Scansea, and spent his whole life digging through the ruins looking for it. Finally died when a chimney fell on him." Yikes. Maddie snorted. "Such nonsense people believe," she said. Lena was shaking her head. She began to smile. No, no, no," she said. "No, you have it wrong," she laughed, and she couldn't help it. "It's not nonsense. It's true. I'm sure it's true." What she suddenly knew seemed so wonderful and astonishing that she leapt up and clasped her hand and laughed again. "You're a silly one," said the roamer. "I'm not silly. The city in the rhyme, it's the city I came from." The city of Umber. The roamer cast... Ooh, that's interesting. The roamer cast a sideways glance at Maddie. "What's the matter with her?" he said. "Has she got a fever?" Maddie reached up for Lena's hand. "Calm down now," she said. "Tell us what you're talking about." So Lena explained. "Sing the line again. The first one of the second song," she said. Pelton's eyes looked at her strangely, but he sang. "Remember the city, remember, where treasure is hidden under the ground." "That first line," said Lena. "I'm sure it's meant to be, remember the city of Ember. That's the name of my home. It was under the ground." "Not sure I believe that," said Pelton. "I think it's true," said Maddie. "They all say it, the ones who came from there." "And what about the treasure then?" said Pelton. "It was us," cried Lena. "We're the treasure, the people of Ember." She felt a swell of love all a sudden for her old city and the people within it. "Sing the first song again, the last lines of it," Pelton sang. "What's hidden will come to light again. It's far more precious than diamonds or gold." "You see," said Lena, "come to light. We came up into the light, and we were more precious than diamonds or gold, because they thought that we might be the last people of Earth, the only ones left." The three of them gazed at each other in wonder. "I believe she's right," Maddie said at last. "Maybe so," said Pelton. He stared curiously at Lena. "You tell me that you've lived underground?" So if you think that Lena's right, do a connection symbol, because I think she has something very interesting. So then, for the rest of the evening, Lena told about the city of Umber, and how they had been messengers there, and how she had been a messenger, and how she and June had found the way out. It was late when they'd finally lay down to go to sleep that night. Lena couldn't sleep at first, thinking of the old song and what they'd meant. Someone long ago had hoped that at last a few people would survive and had wanted them to remember her city and the treasure it held. The treasure that was most valuable of all, herself, her family, and all the generations of people who had lived in the secret place, their purpose. Though they didn't know it, to make sure that human beings did not vanish from the world, no matter what had happened above, there would always be humanity underground. Interesting chapter. So our next chapter that I'm going to read tomorrow is called The Third Town Meeting, which I think is not going to be so good. And I forgot to tell you, but happy St. Patrick's Day, cuties. I hope you do something for it. If the link doesn't work, look on YouTube and see if you can find something cool. Mwah.